So welcome to part 2. We're here with Caz and James and their beautiful family and snakes. And thank you guys for giving us part 1. We really appreciate your beautiful snakes and your lovely family. And they promised to give us a surprise, so we're going to kickstart the surprise with this beautiful bamboo hatchling that's growing on. And what are you going to do for us tonight, Caz? What's the plan?
So this is our baby bamboo Riku, and we are just going to offer her a mouse, and hopefully she'll take.
Okay, fingers crossed for you. Hope she does.
I hope so.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic. Professional, very professional. I like the way you did that. Isn't it? That's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. That's lovely. Lovely to see a hatchling with such a great feeding instinct. That's 5 days since they've had their last meal. So that shows me that she's really doing well. Healthy snake. Is that one of Richard's babies, or is that one of your own that you brought on?
Crystal Palace Reptiles. It comes from London.
I've bought one from Crystal Palace. I've got 2 from him actually. He's a very good breeder actually. I can highly recommend him.
Yeah, we have 2. So the bamboo we've just shown you.
Yeah.
And we've got a girl in quarantine at the moment, Champagne Yellow Belly, which also came from that.
Lovely, lovely. No, that's beautiful. So thank you so much. Well done, well done, well done. It's lovely to see such a lovely, beautiful snake. Nice bit of nature. So what we're going to do, part 2. We're going to ask you to give us an update on Zuri, which is your snake that's had some RI issues. Now, the good news, what's the good news that you got this week on her health?
So, the good news is with Zuri, she has finished her treatment and she has finally been signed off by the vet.
Yep.
And we also, after 7 long weeks, managed to get her to eat a multi on Friday.
Fantastic.
So she's had her first meal. And she's now resting upstairs. We still kept her in quarantine. We're going to keep her up there for at least another month.
Yeah, which was advised by the vet.
Yeah, which was advised by the vet. And we are just going to keep her where she's been, nice and quiet, in our bedroom, and just keep offering her food. And hopefully she'll be ready to join the others in about 4 weeks.
Oh, that's fantastic news. I'm so pleased to hear that, because we've kind of had a conversation for the last 2 or 3 weeks on Zuri, haven't we? Private conversation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love the fact that you're so open and transparent with your snakes, because I've been open with our snakes as well, and I think a lot of breeders need to be more open with RI. My personal feeling is because it's probably more commonly experienced by breeders than people really let on. And I think as long as you're doing what you're doing, is quarantining it, giving it vet support. I love to hear your journey, and I love to find out how you're unlocking this. Because once you've unlocked it for one, if any other issue arises, you're going to be experienced, you're the right people to talk to on how to unlock future problems, and therefore you become a much more valuable person in the community, in the sense that you've learned how to go through the experience, you know what to expect, and therefore you can give support, which is what we need. We need people with experience and support in the industry and in the hobby. Yeah. So tell us a bit about how you first found out, and tell us the story on Zuri. What happened, how long ago? What was going on there?
So it was about, 7 weeks ago, give or take?
Yeah, just over, maybe.
And she stopped feeding, and we thought, because she was up to 950 grams.
Yeah.
So we sort of started asking around all the breeders, like Sam, Richard, Gavin from Balls to You, people like that.
Yeah.
You know, about this 1,000 gram wall thing. And a lot of people were like, yeah, you know, we've experienced it a little bit, or some would say, no, we haven't really experienced it. So we sort of just put it down to, well, it could be that, it might not. She might be just being a bit picky. And then she didn't feed, and then she didn't feed the week after, and the week after. And as the weeks went on, we were starting to think, okay, what is going on? We tried changing prey size. We went from, she was on large weaners at the time, so we went down to small weaners, then we went down to jumbo mice, and she just was turning her nose up at everything. And it was actually by pure accident that we actually noticed it, because she was in her water bowl one night, and as she came out, she blew a bubble. And we just assumed she'd gone under and sort of maybe ingested some water or something, and just sort of blew it back out.
Yeah.
because we didn't really know much about RI because it's not really spoken about. So it was sort of, oh, okay, is it or isn't it? But she was still doing all the normal things. She was shedding, she was going to the toilet. And yeah, so we just decided, right, get her into a vet. We took her away from the rest of the collection that night. We took her away. We were like, right, get her upstairs, get her away from the collection just in case.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we booked her into the vet and they had a look at her.
Yeah, well, the first vet we went to said that she was fine.
Yeah.
But we wanted a second opinion.
We wanted a second opinion because we had already seen she kept yawning and we were seeing the saliva. And when I took her to this vet, I'm not going to name the vet, but I took her to this vet and she had a look in her mouth and she said, no, she's perfectly fine. And I said, well, she's not because she's blowing bubbles. And this vet basically told me, no, it could be substrate, yeah, she could have a foreign body in her throat somewhere that she's just trying to clear. Basically just palmed us off. And then I wasn't happy, so I took her to a different vet that we lived near, and they diagnosed her straight away with an RI.
Yeah. Oh, good, well done. That's just goes to show you can't rely on your first opinion sometimes.
No.
And good on you for being. Yeah, I was saying good on you guys to actually get a proper diagnostics because you're halfway there once you get proper diagnostics. I know that sounds crazy, but everything in life, when there's a problem, if you get your diagnostics right from day one, then you've got a much better chance of getting to her early before it gets out of hand. And I think if you see a bubble, you should go straight to your vet personally and get a good vet at that point. Because they can then, hopefully, if they're experienced reptile vet, they'll know exactly what needs to be done and they'll guide you through the process if they're worth their weight in gold.
Yeah.
So your second vet then, was she very helpful or he very helpful to you? Or did you find that one much better?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, she was a lot better. She noticed that there was excess saliva there straight away. She said it wasn't a huge amount. It wasn't what they would call a really bad case of RI, but it was bad enough.
Yeah.
And literally we started with a course of antibiotics, oral antibiotics for 2 weeks, which we did at home. We noticed a slight improvement, but we did notice that it was stressing her out, being that we were holding her and doing it every night.
Yeah.
So we went back after a 2 week period. She had another look at her, said that it was still there. It had improved, but it was still there. And then decided that the next thing would be to get her on injections. So 3 weeks on injections, which they did at the vets, which we were lucky enough we can have to ourselves. So every 3 days down to the vets to get her injections. We noticed a massive improvement within a week.
Yeah, she was so much more active. She had so much more energy.
And even with food, although she wasn't striking, you could see
she was interested.
Yeah, she was following.
That's a good sign. Good sign.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question on that one? Why did the vet give you oral antibiotics to start with? What was the point of that?
Because it was only a slight RI. It wasn't too bad. They wanted to see if they could clear oral.
Right. So less intrusive.
At home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Less.
She was at home. It was more for the benefit of the snake.
Yeah.
Okay. But we found that it's actually more stressful for the snake because literally we would take her down for the injection, and what we did was, so we had a box, we put her in a box, we covered her with a towel so she was dark, it was dark.
Yeah.
So she felt like she just stayed asleep basically the whole journey there, and then she'd be injected. Even when she come out, she was still asleep. So it was a bit of a bonus really that she slept.
Did they give her a swab test from day one, or she had a swab test or not?
No, they wanted to do, so after the 3 week course of injections, if she hadn't shown a sign of improvement or got over it, they were going to look at going down the diagnostics test, so like the swabs and things like that. But touch wood, so we took her back the other day, she's been given the all clear. We haven't seen any excess saliva. Her mouth is nice and pink, whereas before we found it was like a white colour.
Yeah, yeah.
The main thing is that, as I said, she's actually eaten now.
Yeah.
So we know that she's definitely on the mend. You know.
Absolutely.
Even the vet did say if it's going to come back, it will come back within 2 to 3 weeks. Therefore, we'll go down other routes.
Yeah.
But the fact that she ate, she said, is a good sign, and the fact that now she can chill, she hasn't got to have the stress of antibiotics, it should completely clear and not come back, but you never know.
That's lovely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, because everyone has a slightly different approach to this. Our story was that we took the snake immediately to the vet, and we had a similar issue. She blew a bubble to start with, and Jared is much more experienced than I am, and I thought, well, what's that about, Jared? Why is she blowing a bubble? And Jared said, well, that's an RI issue, which we had from an import, and luckily it was in our quarantine, so it's not actually gone into our main collection, because it is quite contagious apparently, although Rob at Royal Boars says it's less contagious than people make out.
Yeah, I'll be honest, obviously our girl was in our collection, so she was around 9 other snakes, and none of them have shown any signs. Luckily, we are lidded, so maybe that helped.
Yeah, it gives you another layer of protection, I think.
Yeah.
So you've done the right thing. You picked it up early and got it out early, and that's what you should do. And then you went straight to the vet when they're messing about. That's good advice. So thank you for that. That's going to be very helpful to anyone else that experiences a bubble. And of course, from our perspective, we didn't have a swab test offered to us straight away. What she did is she did an internal examination, and obviously must have lifted its mouth, opened it, and had a look at the saliva and thought RI, and then gave it injections immediately there, because we have to travel a long way to our vet. We haven't got a local vet. We had to do, it's a good hour and a half to get to our qualified vet. So it's a 3-hour
journey. It's stressful as well.
It's stressful for the snake. This is the problem.
Yeah.
So Jared and I went up there, and then they showed us how to do it, and I watched lots of videos of how, and we had to then administer for 3 weeks. We're experts at giving shots now. I tell you, well, not experts, but we know how to give shots. It's not the most pleasant. Even Mandy got involved, and we're becoming like vets. It's quite amazing being in this hobby.
Yeah.
You're doing stuff that you wouldn't dream of doing. You're literally becoming almost like vets. You're administering drugs to your animal. You're thinking, doctor. What should I call myself? Doctor Do. Well, I think Doctor Do a lot.
But see, we were quite lucky because our vet is literally 10 minutes down the road. So I think that's why they took us down the route of them injecting the snake rather than us doing it. Because it's only a 10-minute drive.
It's easy, isn't it? Yeah, easier for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah,
but the cost, I think I've worked out the cost for each shot. It's about a tenner for a shot if you do it yourself, and it's probably about 20 if you get them to do it.
For her 3-week course, that was 1 every 3 days, 7 shots. It was £67, so it was just under a tenner a shot.
It's about a tenner a shot.
Yeah, you pay for the vial, don't you? And they just use the same vial, so...
Yeah.
So anyway, if anyone...
That's not including the checkups and everything else.
Yeah, the checkups cost you money, but I mean, that's important to spend money up front, I think, to get a proper diagnostics. Otherwise, you're wasting your money. If you get a wrong diagnostics and spend 3 weeks spending 200 or 300 quid. Now, I want everyone else to know out there that getting shots and things isn't as expensive as I thought. I thought it was going to be a lot more. And I think, £10 a hit for the welfare of your snake is well worth doing, because you just think about it. You can buy a couple of pints and you're done, aren't you? You can sacrifice a couple of pints for the welfare of your snake, even if you're on, do you know what I'm saying? It's not as expensive as people think.
No, it's not. It's not.
No.
So that's good. Thank you for that. And it's important to look at the costing on these things. So then what we did is we tried for 3 weeks and we got small improvement. And then we went back and the vet said there is small improvement but not significant. And I thought, wow, we've spent all that time trying to do this and getting little improvements. So she said, for 300 quid we'll do a swab test for you, 200 or 300 quid. And I said, okay, let's do it. I mean, honestly, I put money to one side. I thought, I need to know what's going on. She said there's 2 things that can cause RI issues. One of them's bacteria driven or fungi driven. The other one is viral. If it's viral, then you've got to consider that snake will probably not make it. If it's bacterial, then you can fight it and there's a chance of getting it back healthy again if you pick up early. So I said, thank goodness it came back that she had bacteria and wasn't viral, because then we'd have fighting chance. Then she said nebulizer, so went the nebulizer route. That was pathetic. Very little improvement. Noisy old thing that just spurted out a little bit of fog into the rub and did virtually nothing.
Yeah.
Then this
No,
week,
no, the new thing you've got.
the new thing we've got is absolutely up for the job. I mean, I'm so pleased. I feel really confident that we can sort this problem out. And I'm going to carry on with it and see what happens. And we, of course, it was only one of our viewers that told us about the F10 antiseptic rather than disinfectant. Because you've got two choices.
We're with you on that one. We never knew there was more. In fact, it was only when you said about the antiseptic, I found their website and I went on their website and then you actually quite a few different ranges.
Yeah.
So
What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this for another week or two, and then I'm going to video the progress of the snake and show that to the viewers to see how she's doing. And as soon as the vet then checks over, she gets a full bill of health, and we know she's safe. She's going back into the collection.
Yeah.
You know. And from your perspective, I would say to you that you're going to follow your vet's advice. She's already said that she's progressing, but you're going to be prudent and give it another 4 weeks, aren't you, or 2 or 3 weeks before you...
Yeah, definitely.
It's just because, obviously, if we move her down here and then 2 weeks later she shows signs again, it's that case of just getting it with them again. So just leave her for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
And then hopefully if we see nothing, then she's safe to come back.
It's not that. I think the snake needs time to recoup as well. I think you know it's like us, isn't it? I mean, you only have to look at people that have you've had coronavirus.
Yeah, I've had it.
And it's not the virus; it's the recovery afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's all right getting this virus, like something like COVID, and going through that for a week or 2 weeks, but it's the rest that your body needs after.
Yeah.
So with Zuri, she's gone through her treatment, she's not showing any symptoms, the RI is potentially gone, but the vet said she needs that recovery time, she needs that quiet time, you know, to build her strength back up.
Without being
handled and, you know, like even us, it's killing us because we love her to bits, but we haven't handled her at all.
Well, she was our first snake,
because you've got to give them that time to recoup.
When she's ready, we'll have to do another live and introduce her to us.
Definitely.
I'd like to see her because I'm really enjoying this. And thank you so much for tonight, by the way, because I'm really enjoying this and learning a lot from you guys. So I really appreciate your love. And to be honest with you, you're one of my favourite families on our channel because you give so much love and support, and you understand my sense of humour as well, and you kind of have a good giggle. You know well, I like your take on the video that we did with the live, the little cam.
Oh yeah.
I think we were the world's first to actually video love making of a couple of snakes, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
It was a big eye opener. It was brilliant to see.
It was. Yeah.
As long as it doesn't give you any ideas in the bedroom. I mean, I'm just visualising James hanging from the ceiling or from the wardrobes going away. And I'm looking up and I'm just wondering what's going on with the line. The kids have gone to bed now. Oh, my naughty side's coming out now. Sorry about that. Caz is encouraging it. But no, what I was going to think is, now you talked about possibly even setting up a YouTube channel, which is interesting to me because what are your thoughts on that? Obviously, this week's been quite hard for me, and I've been transparent with how I feel, and I've done a bit of re-examining myself, rethinking about what I'm doing, and then trying to be lovingly firm with the people out there that don't respect what we're doing. And I feel really good about that. But I want to warn everyone that obviously going into this, there are dangers. You know, you are putting yourself out there. But on the whole, the good is far outweighs the bad. So if you can focus on the good, I would say to you, go for it, because there's a lot more good that you can do, even if people do try and bring you down.
Yeah.
You know. But tell us your motivation, what you're thinking, and what your thoughts are, why you want to do it, and how we can get behind you and support you.
I mean, we're not really, because we're so new into it, aren't we? I mean, we've just, like I said, we've had the pleasure of meeting a few of the bigger breeders and that, and we've, as I said, as you saw earlier, we've had some top quality animals off of Richard, Sam, you know. But for us, it's just, you know, we watch these YouTube videos not just because we enjoy watching everybody. It's more to learn.
Yeah.
You know, for us, it's all about learning. I mean, the first 6 months that we got into this hobby, we were constantly one of them people that was getting in for work and shoving YouTube on, you know.
Well, yeah, because for us, it started as like, we got Zuri and she was going to be a pet. And then, obviously, we've got our second one, which was Ray, which we haven't shown. She's Cinnamon. And again, she was a pet. And then we started watching videos. We started watching Big P. I think that was one of the big ones. Paul Milner at Urban Constrictors. Gavin and Balls to You. And then we just, I don't know, we just fell in love with it and decided that, okay, maybe we were going to have a collection of different stuff and maybe to take that further into breeding down the line. So
I think you're laying a fantastic foundation and your heart's definitely in the right place, and I think you're going to be very successful whatever you decide to do. And as a community, we're going to back you if you do go for the channel and you want any help on cameras or how to set up. I'll probably do a week on...
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of the things, that's one of the big questions we've got is, you know, we don't know where to start. It's that starting point, you know. You know, you're trying to get your name out there. I mean, we've actually just done our first order of stickers, which we will start to send out to people.
Oh, we'll do a swap with you. We would definitely want to do a swap with you.
It's taken us a long time. Just it took us over a year to get the name. Really.
So what name are you going for, guys? Tell us your name and how we can contact you.
So our name is Dovorian Family Royals.
Okay.
And the meaning behind it is basically because obviously we live in Dover. And we have one of the most beautiful castles, like Dover Castle. I don't know if you've ever been, but if you haven't, you need to. It's absolutely beautiful.
Well, we'll come and visit your collection one day, and you can take us out.
Definitely.
We'll do that.
And our castle sits lovely on the White Cliffs of Dover, you know. And that was how we got our idea. And my sister, she does quite a lot of artwork, and we just sort of gave her the ideas, and she drew it up, and we loved it. And we just decided to go for Dovorian Family Royals because it isn't just me and James.
No.
As you've seen today, the kids are very hands-on. They love the animals. They clean them. They feed them. You know, so we are a family. We are Dovorian Family Royals. That's
I love it.
We are.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. And when all your artwork's all done and you've got everything to go, we'll do another live. We'll do an update live, maybe a few months down the line, because we want to do regular lives. We'll do them as often as people want to do them. But maybe we can revisit and, you know, in a way, this is a good experiment. Is this your first ever live on YouTube? So you've already you're testing the water with me. Let me just say, you're coming across beautifully. So you've got the confidence. You've got the confidence in front of the camera. You've got the personalities and the snakes and the family. You've got everything going for you, and you've got my complete 100% support if you go that route. Because I will do lots of collabs with you, and my subscribers are your subscribers because they'll follow you. I'm sure they will, and you'll get a lot of loyalty. And I think you've already got a network of friends. You've got a fantastic opportunity to take your family on this journey, and I just want to wish you the very best with that, and thank you so much for your time tonight, because you're really helping my channel, because it's a new channel and it is frightening launching a new channel, and it's not easy, but it's like if you go back to James's analogy and my analogy, when I first had a snake in front of me, I was like, get him away, you know. Look at James now. Look at him now. He's
in touch.
completely confident with snakes now, and it's the same with YouTube. Initially it's scary that you're going to go live. It's a bit scary, but once you get a few under your belt, you'll be fine. And I did it with my fishing channel 10 years ago, and luckily, if you do something that you're passionate about, let me give you a little story, because let's see what time we've got. And we've got 4 or 5 minutes, so I'll just tell you a quick story. There's this really, there's this kid in the US that was really scared to answer questions in class. He was always very quiet, always frightened to get up and do anything and show his skills. And one day he got quite a lot of stick from his fellow classmates. They kind of picking on him a little bit because they thought he was a bit of a shy guy, didn't really want to come out of his skin, and he had a hard time. But one day there was about 1,000 people in America. This was, and they were playing American baseball, and the crowd were going nuts because they had one super player on the school team that was hitting such big hits. I mean, literally, he was getting the whole team around the bases, because he was hitting that ball so hard. And you know, the confidence of that young man in a baseball game was incredible. It was the same kid that was recluse in class. And the moral of the story, of course, is that even if we're shy in certain areas of our life, we can shine when we're confident with what we're doing.
Totally great.
So I want you to take strength in that, because when you go into your YouTube channel, be confident that you've got skill set and friendship base that you come across nicely, and that you've got a passion for this. The most important thing to be successful, I think, is to be yourselves, be genuine, and have a passion for what you're doing. And you've got all those ingredients. So I know you're going to be successful if you decide to go that route.
Brilliant.
Yeah, honestly. And you've got my backing anyway. I'm sure you've got Richards and Robs and Sam's, and you probably get some of the other big players out there that will get behind you, because it sounds like you're so well connected. I think you're going to thrive, and we'll thrive together, and we're going to build synergy. Synergy, you know, I like that term, because my collection is your collection in a way is my collection, because we want to share that with each other on YouTube, but we'll probably end up doing some trades, because we love and trust each other.
Yeah.
And I've already got my eye on a few of your snakes already. You've probably got an eye on mine as well.
I'm sure you've got more.
Oh, you're going to be blessed.
I definitely like the look of your lightning pipes, I must admit.
Yeah, well, they're going to come out. I'll tell you what, if I get one on the Morph, I won't even put it on the Morph market, I'll make it available to you first. If there's one on the market, we'll make sure you get one of our lightning pipes, because I'm hoping when they're all up to size, she'll produce a few for us that we can pass on to friends and things. So
yeah,
I'm super excited about that, and